we're covering 7.3, and I put PST because PST stands for perfect trinomial square. So you will hear myself and a lot of other math teachers call it a perfect trinomial square. It's a pattern. So there's going to be a binomial with two terms, terms A and B, and that is going to be squared. Here is what the pattern comes out to be. A squared plus 2AB plus B squared. It comes out to be this every single time. We'll develop it in a minute. The second pattern for a perfect trinomial square is this. A minus B quantity squared. So that is A squared minus 2AB plus B squared. These are two very important patterns that you have to memorize, and hopefully after today you will know them as quickly as you know your times tables. Okay, so I guess I'm going to correct myself. I said PST, I meant to say PTS, but it's the same thing, perfect square trinomial or perfect trinomial square. Here's how the two shortcuts came about. So if I have A plus B quantity squared, that is the same thing as A plus B times A plus B. All right, so from lots of practice you've learned I do A squared plus AB plus BA plus B squared. So whether you know that from memorization, from the rainbow method, from the square method, from check your smile method, whatever way, AB is the same as BA. You can just switch it around. So that means AB plus AB is 2AB plus B squared. So you can get to the same answer by writing it out, but I'm telling you for Algebra 2, you need to memorize it. It'll get pretty quick with more practice. Here are the two patterns, and we're going to do monitoring progress 1 to start with. All right, so whatever's in this A position, we're going to square it. So x times x is x squared. Okay, the next one. We're going to multiply A and B together. So these two multiplied together makes 7x. Then you're going to multiply it by 2, so it makes 14x. Then I'm going to take whatever's in the B position, and I'm going to square that, which makes 49. So these problems, I want you to get so used to it that there's no middle step, that you know the answer right away. Now that you're more familiar with the pattern, let's do a couple problems without showing any work. So take A, square that, it becomes 49x squared. Take these two, squeeze them together to make negative 21x times 2 makes negative 42x. Good. Now square the last, negative 3 times negative 3, positive 9. Good job. Next, square this becomes 16x squared. Very good. Squeeze these together to make negative 4xy times 2 makes 8xy, and it's not positive, it's negative. I apologize. And negative y times negative y makes positive y squared. Here we go. Last one. 3n times 3m, 9m squared. Multiply the two together to make 3mn times 2 makes 6mn. And then square the last to make n squared. Perfect. Okay, so the next concept, which is super important, is called difference of two squares. And for short, most algebra teachers will call it dots. Difference of two squares. So the pattern is a plus b times a minus b, or same thing, a minus b times a plus b. Always the same. You're going to square the first minus square the last. Difference of two squares. That's a square, that's a square, minus means different. Now you need to memorize it because very, very soon we'll be going backwards, my favorite F word, which is factoring. It always makes me giggle to say that. And you need to know it and recognize it. So here's how this came about. Let's just do this the old school way, like we've done before. Okay, multiply these two. A squared. Multiply a times negative b. Negative ab. Multiply b times a plus ab. Multiply b times negative b minus b squared. Oh, what happens to my middle part here? They cancel out. So it becomes a squared minus b squared. So if you memorize it, don't waste your time writing this out. It will always cancel it out. So let's do some problems and you'll see how quickly you're gonna learn this. So this is monitoring practice 5, x plus 10, x minus 10. So monitoring progress 5. So first you have to recognize it. Is it a perfect trinomial square or is it a difference of two squares? It's a dots problem, right? Because they're exactly the same except one is plus and one is minus. So in your head the pattern's going ding, ding, ding. I recognize this is a dots problem. I'm going to square the first, which makes x squared. I'm going to square the last, which makes 100. 10 times negative 10 is 100. And the sign in the middle will always be negative. So quickly write down monitoring progress 6. So 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. Okay, they're exactly the same binomial except one's plus, one's minus. Ding, ding, ding. That's a dots problem. Square the first, which makes 4x squared. Square the last, which makes 1. And the sign in between is always negative. Good job.